So we figured we'd do a day in the life. This is the wife.
Hi.
Saturday, we're doing showings. Every other Saturday, I do them. Every Sunday, I do them. And my showing agent does the opposite Saturdays. So right now, we're at our first property, 2927 Dempster. And we have a 10:30 showing. And we just show up a little early, send a text, wait for the people to arrive. We will try to film as much as possible, but some people aren't comfortable on camera. We have 3 showings today, so stick around and follow along, and let's see if we get some houses rented. So this first unit is actually up top, so we're gonna go unlock it and get it ready. Turn the lights on. Just make sure that it's clean. Oh, there's a cat. So we're just gotta unlock this bad boy. The lights on. So this duplex has some low ceilings, so it's always been hard to rent. Watch my head here. Woo! And then it lowers here. So that's kind of the challenge with getting this one rented. We're gonna try to get $1,000. I think previous rent was $1,100, but the market has really softened, so you can't just like get whatever you want these days. And when we walk these properties, we learn things like we gotta get a light bulb in this. And I think we're gonna need to install some light bulbs in the fan here. And other things that we check on is just making sure the window units are turned on and are running in the summer, and that heat can be turned on as well. Because in a vacant property, you can have pipes freeze a lot easier in the winter, and stuff overheat and smell weird in the summer, and heat can cause just as much damage as cold. I'm glad they did a good cleaning on this. This has been disgusting before. And a lot of times, when you come in here, the fan doesn't go out. So if the tenant had been cooking for a lot of years, all of this would just be grease. That's what we walked into when we did the turnover. I'm gonna get these on separate lock boxes, because if our tenant moves into either of these units and we have both the units' keys in one lockbox, basic assumptions would mean you're gonna have all your keys stolen by a tenant that doesn't know that they took another unit's keys. So we will see when the applicant shows up, and we'll go from here. So far, this is a no call, no show, which happens actually like 50% of the time on weekends. But if we're gonna do, let's say 50 weekends a year on showings, we on average have 2 per day. So that's like 200 showings if you have 100 showings per year on Saturdays and 100 per year on Sundays. You have 200 showings, let's say 100 of them show up. So at that point, that's how many more chances we have to rent these. Plus, with us physically being at the property, handymen, they don't ever do things right, let's just be honest. And so you gotta pay attention to things like light bulbs that were never installed but were on the list to get accomplished. So now we're gonna go back, we're gonna say, hey, Mr. Handyman, you forgot a light bulb, and he's gonna come out here and install it. Other things to think about, I always carry lock boxes on me, because once again, the handyman cheaped out, and we told him the exact lock box to purchase, but he put it only on the downstairs unit, and we are in a duplex. And so number one, scalability, always buy the same lockbox. You can obviously have different codes, but what this will allow you to do is when people tell you that the code doesn't work, the lockbox is broken, and you're an hour away, 20 minutes away from the property, you can send a video. Like, I already have a pre-made video on how to open the damn lockbox. And that way, usually it's a user error, and it's just somebody that's short-sighted, not thinking very clearly, and they just need to get taught how to open it. And so knowing you have only one style of lockbox is honestly a great scalable activity you can do that's super simple, and you can start doing that on your first rental and it'll bring impact, I promise you. So we're going to put a second lockbox on this because we're on a duplex and we give out lockbox codes the day the lease begins. So when the tenant moves in, if this unit's keys are in the downstairs unit, I would like to assume, or sadly assume, that those keys are going to get stolen. So I'm just going to put one on the front door. Even though there's a no call, no show here, light bulb, we saw the cleaning was done properly, and we're getting a lockbox. So there's still a positive impact at the property today, and hopefully we can all go to bed happy, including the landlord. We are at our second house. This one surprised me because we put it up for $2,800. Now it is a 4-bed, 2.5 bath, and a lot of people watching this know that a couple years ago that was not a ridiculous price to be asking. But I warned the landlord before we went on market with this house that these larger houses that can and should demand, $2,800, maybe even $3,000 a month for rent are sitting on the market the longest. In my opinion, it's affordability. Not a lot of people in Knoxville can even qualify for this if they wanted it, because 2.5 times income, hopefully 3 times income of, let's say we were asking $3,000 a month, would be $9,000 in household income, which is significantly higher than the median income for Knoxville. So, and with just things are getting quiet in the market, and I think people are getting tight with their wallet. So either way, we have had 3 showings in the first week, and this is our second out of the 3 that are scheduled. So we're very optimistic about getting this rented in under maybe even 2 weeks' time for the asking price of $2,800, when landlord and I were both probably gonna be looking at a 25, maybe 2,600 finish line in 4 to 6 weeks from the start of marketing. So, so far so good with this one. Kind of excited to see it get gone quick. We will have to get the carpet cleaned inside. Our first showing, we noticed that it's kind of still smelled like pet, and then we got to get the front lawn mowed one last time for the season, and it should be good. So let's go on in. I got to get unlocked here. So we put it up quick because Thanksgiving is coming, and between Thanksgiving and Christmas, you probably aren't going to meet the most normal humans that are looking to rent, because they probably are in an emergency situation. And sometimes that's good because people have just sold their house and they weren't able to find one to purchase, so they need somewhere to rent for a year, or they just moved into town. But you don't want to run into accidental evicted tenants that they don't have it on their record yet because of a delay, or they had a bargain with their old landlords if they got out by a certain date because they were not paying rent, and that would not show up on a background check of any kind. So you can run into some crazies in between Thanksgiving and Christmas. So what we're trying to do here is get it on market as soon as possible, but we still have things we got to get done. Like, as you can see, the lawn mowing needs to get done. The house still needs, I would consider, a deep clean. Windows inside, and carpet, and hard floors, countertops, inside appliances, on top of appliances, like inside fridge and stove, on top of stove, outside, all that stuff. bottom line, it's just better to get it on market as soon as possible. If you were in a peak season like spring, you'd wait a week or two, get it all done, have a better first impression. But based on it being November 8th, we only have a couple more weeks, and then the market's going to go soft. And so that's why we made the decision with the landlord to just get it moving best we possibly can and get action on it fast. And as you can see, we can still get really good photography done on the property. This is our website right here. As you click in, you will see that we can have really, really good clean photos, even when a house technically needs to get clean still. Alright, so here's another no call, no show. And why I bring that up and why I admit it is because these are the days that a showing agent or another property manager will be like, you know what, Saturday showings don't work. I'm not doing them. They're a waste of time. They burn up my day. But the reality is in this day and age, most people are flaky. Most people can't commit to a timeline. And the reality is no matter how many follow-up texts and calls and, hey, Dan's going to be there at 12 o'clock, make sure you're there as well. Please respond by 2 p.m. today to make sure that, to confirm that you will be there tomorrow. They still confirm. We have all these systems and policies, and yet people still don't respect your time. They may ask more questions of like, how many pets are you trying to bring at the property? What's your credit score? What's your perceived credit score? And all of these things hurt a sales funnel because it requires the lead to complete more information before viewing the house. And so we take on the loss of all these no-call, no-shows because through the weeds, we get people that want a simple, easy way to go view a house within 16 hours of asking when they can view it, and then they can apply and move forward with the lease. And so the right people go through our sales funnel smooth, fast, and that is what allows us to charge top dollar rent and get them filled faster. Where if we take the wrong lesson from this and say, it's a waste of time, we need to button up like who we just allow to come view these houses because half of them are a waste of time, blah, 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 that will actually discourage the people that want a smooth experience, a fast experience. And we will never get those leads because we will shoo them away through all of the requirements. And people want to move fast. They want to get to their phone, click a few buttons, and then get to the property. And so we allow it to be a simple process. And that's honestly why we have a lot of no-call, no-shows. At the end of the day, that's why you hire a property manager, because it's our time that's getting burnt, not you as the landlord. And these are the things that you have to do to be successful with getting properties leased. 7 days a week, be there whether the person's going to be there or not, because the time that you think they're not going to be there, they'll show up, they'll be angry, and the whole thing was a waste of time as well. So on to our third showing today. I think it's going to be a madhouse because I marketed the crap out of it on Facebook as well as ZillowApartments.com, RentalBeast, Rent.com, all the others, and we had a ton of action on it yesterday. It's a really well-priced 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath in Carnes, and I think we're only asking like $2,200 right now, and it's just under 1,800 square feet, so it's a heck of a deal. Landlord has it like paid out, so they don't have a mortgage. They're not too worried about cash flow because they can, they'd rather have a well-qualified tenant and be picky about who we put in it. So that's the other side of the coin. So we're going to have like 5 parties there viewing this house, and it should be a very impactful showing. So here's a scene of my wife singing Christmas music. Cut to the tape. This is going to be on the YouTube video. For Christmas is you.
So this is a great example of, we put this thing out on Facebook yesterday because we were originally not getting enough interest from Zillow, Apartments.com, Rental Beast, Rent.com, all the main things that property managers typically use to market a property. And so many people talk poorly on Facebook about bad leads, blah, blah. It's like, I got a lot of normal people here, 4 parties, and they all came from Facebook yesterday. And the thing about Facebook is you got to move fast, create open houses, and just start funneling people in all at the same time, because they are, you know, as you probably think watching this, like kind of finicky leads. And as we were at the last property, we have no call, no shows even on our top lead generating websites like Zillow and Apartments.com. So don't be prejudiced towards Facebook just because you think people are crazy on it. It's actually the fastest way someone can get a hold of you, because there's no click to schedule a viewing and all this stuff. They go right to a human, and that's why a lot of people, whether they're boomers or even like college students, are still using Facebook Marketplace to find rentals, because they can talk to a human faster, and no other rental website allows that to actually even happen. So that's why we have so much demand. And it just proves that people want to talk to people, which is why being at these open houses and private showings is so important. And it allows us to convert leads faster and get houses rented, and hopefully under 4 weeks every single time. All right, you saw a day in the life of being a showing agent on a Saturday afternoon, from morning to afternoon, as you just saw. I mean, a couple showings were a waste of time, but in reality, they all are worth it. Every single touch that you make on that property brings positive impact. This one had probably like 4 or 5 different parties, so we'll probably get some applications and hopefully a lease done by Monday, and we'll go from there. Boom.